Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Tuesday night in Azeroth, and we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about patch 12.1, the Curse of Ula'tek, the new content patch that's about to hit servers in a couple of days. This one looks pretty good. I will admit, I'm getting kind of troll overload here, but I do like the Amani storyline, and so hopefully it works out and it's pretty good. I did the intro quest line on the PTR and it's really good. I really like Zul'jara as a character, and I'm not going to spoil any of the storyline so that you can have a chance to go do it yourself, but it's good. I like it. And I like that Zul'jan isn't just a mindless villain. He's passionate, and that's one of the things I liked about him in the original campaign storyline, is that he has this passion for the Amani. He's just a little, let's just say, misguided with his behavior. So anyway, we'll get into all that. Plus, we've got a bunch of news, some reviews that we're going to go through, and that'll be about the whole show. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as I always like to do before I get started on the news or anything like that, I will do a quick rundown of what we got up to last week in World of Warcraft. So in Anniversary, as we are nearing the end of Phase 2, things are starting to get a little more difficult. We did have some weather-related problems last week, so two of our only two shaman healers couldn't make raid. So we scrambled last minute trying to find two appropriate healers. We ended up having our elemental shaman switch over to Resto and brought in a second rep paladin. It wasn't the ideal group comp, but we still got through the first two bosses of Serpent Shrine plus a full clear of Tempest Keep on Friday, and then on Saturday we just finished up everything else, all of the Serpent Shrine plus Magtheridon and Gruul. So it was a good night, or a good weekend. Pretty uneventful. Nothing really big happened. More than anything, the big issue was that we're starting to run into some issues. We had a few subs already, and then we had to scramble to find a few more because of the weather-related issues. So, it's tough because you obviously you don't want to tell people, oh no, you have to, it's a video game, but we've all made commitments. And so, there are nights when I don't want to go to raid, not because I don't want to raid, but because I have other things that I need to do. And it's like, no, I made a commitment. I'm going to go to raid. And so that's what I do. So, I think what I'm going to start doing going forward, though, is I am going to start streaming the raids. I don't know that it's going to be more an interactive stream, but I think I'm going to start putting that out there because I had a conversation with someone this week, and they said, well, how come you stopped streaming? And I was like, well, because nobody was watching. And it's like, well, I would watch. So it's like, well, I guess that's fair. And I don't ever have this delusion that I'm going to be a big streamer, but I do feel like I want to put that out there and have that availability, even if the stream is just like the live stream of the episode, which is something I've talked about doing for a long time. I haven't done it because I'm a little nervous, because what if I do a full live stream of the episode and nobody shows up? That's going to feel a little weird. But there's I forget what the saying is. It's something along the lines of, anything worth doing is worth, putting an effort for. I don't know, something. Basically, if I don't put myself out there, how can I ever expect to do these things? I'll just convince myself that it's not going to work, and I won't do it. So I think that that's a lesson I had to learn for myself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to start. This will be the first stream this weekend. I'll start on that. We'll see how it goes. And then in Modern WoW, I actually, because we've got the patch 12.1, I wanted to get on and get first of all, I had to finish my time walking. So I did my time walking. I got my Spawn and Viranoth mounts, which are both really cool. So I did that, or I got it for each of my accounts, and those are really cool. And then I got my hunter and my warrior both level 90 through the time walking. For whatever reason, I got a bug up my butt, and I decided I wanted to play my hunter now. So I started playing her and running delves and gearing her up. And I'm not really going to get any good gear before the patch. So everything is going to be replaced or most everything is going to be replaced on Patch Tuesday. But it's you have to get yourself out there. You have to have your character ready to go, because otherwise, it's going to be a problem when it's like, now I want to level up for the patch and I have no gear. So the intro quest line gives you a couple of pieces of gear, so that'll be good. And that'll be a really good way for me to get that character moving. But I had a lot of fun. I did a lot of delves. I did some prey, and I actually had a really good time with it. I really enjoyed playing the hunter. Hunter's not in a great place right now, DPS wise, but fun wise, I always love playing the hunter. It's a good time. But I will say the rotation is so simple that the single button assistant works really well for the beast mastery hunter. There's just, because you don't have any cooldowns. Your only cooldown is BCO Wrath, which is a 30-second cooldown, which means it gets rolled into the single button assistant. So that was cool. So I did that. I got to kind of play around with the rotation, but I don't even know what the hunter specific class changes are, because I really only looked at Death Knight and Paladin for the coming season 2. So I'll have to look at what is changing for Beast Mastery Hunter, and maybe that's a character I'm going to play a lot more going into season 2. Who knows? We'll see. We do have BlizzCon coming up, and I am so nervous right now about the raid team in Classic or in TBC Anniversary, because I'm scared that if Blizzard says, hey, everyone, Classic Plus is coming in this many weeks, that our raid team is going to fall apart. I'm a little nervous about that. And I know some of the people from the raid team do listen to this podcast, and I'm sure that other people have had the same thought. So we'll see how it goes. But right now it's a little tenuous, I think, at least from my vantage point. I want to make sure that things continue, because honestly, I really like this group of people, and finding a good group of people is hard to do. And in WoW, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited about Classic Plus, but what if my raid team falls apart because of it? Yeah, that doesn't sound good. And honestly, if they said, hey, Classic Plus is coming out in the beginning of October, I'll play that too. And honestly, with Midnight and Classic Plus, I don't know how much time I'm going to have for Anniversary. So yeah, I mean, I get it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And it really all depends on what Blizzard decides to announce at BlizzCon. And speaking of BlizzCon, I finally bought my tickets. I had procrastinated because I wasn't sure. I was trying to figure some things out financially. And I finally bought my tickets, my plane tickets. So I'm heading into Orange County for BlizzCon. So it's pretty exciting. If you're going to BlizzCon and you want to, say hi, you want to grab a drink, whatever, you want to meet the face behind the voice, hit me up on Discord and or on Twitter. I will gladly get in touch with you and see what we can arrange. So I'll be putting a post up on Discord in the next week or two, detailing the same. You can get to the Discord by going to AzerothUnitedPod.com and sign up there, and you'll get all the news and announcements that I haven't been making recently, but there's other reasons for that. So, hopefully things will be better going forward as far as that aspect of the podcast goes. So yeah, get on the Discord, and if there's people in Anaheim for BlizzCon, we can coordinate that. So, and I think that's it. So yeah, before we get to the news, we do have 2 new Spotify comments that I wanted to read here. The first one comes from Lad. This is about the episode, the Classic Plus conversation. Is a very friendly guy, but he starts off with kind of an aggressive tack here. Who the fuck wants Classic Plus without class changes? Warriors? Only warriors. Keeping it the same and only adding dungeons and raids is absolutely pathetic. I can't believe you even mentioned that. Probably like 2% of people would want no class changes, and every one of them is warrior. Thanks, lad. That's exactly the type of comment that I want to see, because you know what? You gave me a critique. Yeah, you were a little angry, but you know what? You're not wrong. Look, this is the thing. And a lot of people are talking about this. I guarantee you it's more than 2% of people who want just classic, but with new content. I don't. I think it's a terrible idea because I want to be able to play a prop paladin or a feral druid or whatever. But yeah, I get it, and I agree. It would be the World of Warcraft all over again. So definitely not what I want, but there are people out there that want it, and that's kind of the point about Classic Plus, is that you can't please everyone. No matter what you do, no matter how you market it, no matter what you put in the game, you're going to piss somebody off. And that's just the way it goes. So, yeah, that's, thank you, lad, for that comment. And like I said, you're not wrong. So, okay. The other one comes from HP0927. Thank you for that. Mythic Plus has a trust problem. Love the podcast. As someone who played from vanilla through Wrath of the Lich King, your content about Classic is pure nostalgia. Since I haven't played WoW in over a decade, all the modern terms and new game mechanics can be tough to follow. Would you ever consider doing an episode outlining the major changes from original WoW up to midnight? Or alternatively, a quick guide to retail-specific slang and overall mechanics. Keep up the good work. I read this comment and I thought, you know what? That's a great idea for an episode. So I started working on this, but I didn't get it ready for this week. I'll probably try and get it in for next week. Because honestly, I think that's a fantastic idea. I talk about WoW stuff. When I talk about WoW stuff with non-WoW players, like I've mentioned before, my mother-in-law, she's very supportive of the podcast, even though she has no idea what I'm talking about. But I've tried to explain to her the game, and my wife has too. My wife can't explain WoW without using WoW-specific terms, which is hard. She says things like, it's a raid or a boss fight. And I could see my mother-in-law's eyes just kind of glaze over, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? So I have to try to be very specific. We're fighting a big monster, and it takes 25 of us to go do this, or it takes 40 of us to go do this. And when you get that many people in one group together, it's called a raid. And try to explain some of these things to her, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do understand that even if you've played WoW and you're familiar with WoW specific terms, once you get into the later things like keystones and, now we've got delves and prey and layers and all of these new things. And it's like, well, yeah, it's going to be a little bit confusing. The Great Vault and the Catalyst, and yeah, I understand. And I can see how that would be confusing. So I have already done I went through and highlighted some of the new features and the new systems that have been added to WoW over the years. But rather than just focus on the specific systems and features, I'd like to talk about how WoW has changed over the years. So that'll be coming probably next week's episode, assuming I can get it done in the next week. So thank you, HP0927. I'm sure you have a better, more clever name, but that's what you put in there, and that's your Spotify name. So that's what I got to go with. So, but thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, like I say every week, if you leave a Spotify comment or an Apple Podcast review, I will read them in this segment of the show. So, all right, let's move on to the news.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so last week we talked about the Dungeons and Dragons World of Warcraft leak that had come out of the Gen Con pre-press. And so it is announced now, it is official. World of Warcraft Dungeons and Dragons crossover is coming November 17th, with early access beginning November 3rd. Dungeons & Dragons World of Warcraft brings a storied MMO world from desktop to tabletop, handing players and dungeon masters everything they need to set their next great campaign. Get ready to choose your faction, build your champion, and carve out your own legacy. Purchase D&D World of Warcraft bundles for an epic haul of treasures to start your adventures off right, including World of Warcraft in-game items, Black Dragon Mount, Gazer Pet, Mimic Chest Toy, and Mimic Chest Decor. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to buy this. The full pre-order, like the big set, I think it's $80. I haven't played D&D for a long time, but I'll tell you, this would get me to play it. Yeah, this is cool. No, I lied. The full big D&D World of Warcraft Collector's Edition Ultimate Bundle, which has everything, is $150, $144.99. Yeah, the 13 World of Warcraft classes, 9 new and revised subclasses, 40 plus specializations, 16 species, 60 plus new spells, 25 plus new magic items, 50 plus new monsters, 30 dungeon boss stat blocks, 7 iconic dungeons, and 23 factions. If you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, you know that the rule set is very complicated. There's a lot of rules in there, and some of the current ones are I think it's 5th edition is a lot more streamlined. But like I said, I haven't played in. I mean, okay, that's not true. We did a one-off campaign with my daughter. Wanted to see if we could play D&D as a family, which my wife derailed. It's how it goes. You write this whole story out, and then one player decides, I'm going to do this instead. And that's okay. That's how it goes. But yeah, we did that as a couple years ago. But I haven't really played any tabletop RPGs in, I want to say 30 years, 35 years, maybe. It's been a long time. So yeah, this is really interesting to me. I'm definitely going to want to go check it out. Yeah, because I don't have to learn the lore, right? I already know the lore. I already understand how the classes work. I understand how the game world operates. I just need to learn the specifics of how the 5th edition operates as far as the rule set, and I think it'll be good to go. So definitely be picking this up, even just to be able to have it and look through it. And there's something really special about having a RPG book and being able to look through it and get different bits of information that maybe you weren't getting from some other source. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, check out the Dungeons and Dragon World of Warcraft. You can actually order it on their website, dungeonsanddragons.com. So yeah, there you go. That's coming November 17th. So pre-order today. All right. In other news, I just think it's really cool. I think I was not expecting that. I didn't have that on my bingo card for this year. But here we are getting Dungeons and Dragons World of Warcraft crossover. So plus you get in-game stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, I mean, the Mimic decor item, it sounds really cool. I'm like, I could put that in my house. Okay. In classic news, the Season of Discovery Community Fake Fresh event has now moved on to Phase 5. That is going to be the Karzan Crypts dungeon and the Encourage 40-player and 20-player raids, as well as the Nightmare Dragons in the Nightmare Grove. If you are on Season of Discovery and you're curious to check all this stuff out, you can go make a character on either of the Wild Growth servers, EU or NA, and participate in the Season of Discovery Community Fresh event. There's a lot of hype for Classic Plus right now, but there are still a few people who are like, you know what, just give us SOD again. We'd be fine with that. And Blizzard has already said they're not going to do that, but I think a lot of people would probably really dig that. SOD was fun. I just didn't like Phase 3. That was it. That was my problem. So Phase 3? Yeah, it's Phase 3. So, whatever. It's fine. So yeah, if you're curious about that, go check out Season of Discovery. In Burning Crusade Anniversary, the Arena Season 2 will officially end August 17th. So that's a little more than a week, about a week and a half. So if you are trying to get your arena points in, now's the time to do it. Yeah, and then the Phase 5 will launch on August 27th. So it's a full reset after the Season 2 ends, and then plus the 2 days of, for whatever reason, they've launched the classic, or at least the anniversary updates on Thursdays. So I guess that's fine. I'm so used to like the Patch Tuesday thing that Patch Thursday is weird, but I had to build it into my spreadsheet when it was like, okay, this week we're getting the anniversary, whatever, and so it grabs the date on Thursday instead of Tuesday, because I had it plugged in for Tuesday. Just whatever happens, it's on Tuesday. But yeah, so yeah, so there you go. Season ending. We didn't know the official dates, so we assumed it was going to be the 17th, but yeah, there was there you go. The player housing soundtrack has been released by Blizzard. It's 9 songs it's a compilation of all the music that plays in the player housing neighborhoods. You have songs like Homeward, Shadowhaven, Safe and Sound, Tales and Trophies, etc. Check it out. It's good. No matter what you think about WoW and Blizzard and their current state of things, the music is always good. The music for the patch 12.1 Curse of Ula'tek is great. This player housing music is great. I feel so relaxed when I'm in my house doing stuff because the music is so good. So yeah, go listen to this. When you have stuff like this on YouTube, it's tough for me because I do pay for YouTube Premium. So it's a little weird because I could just put this stuff on YouTube Music and go, and I'm good. And if I turn my phone off, it'll keep playing. Not everyone does that, so because it is expensive, but I do pay for it. So yeah, there you go. Check out the player housing soundtrack available on YouTube. It's pretty good. I like it. Checked out a few of the songs. Not quite as exciting as the patch 12.1 music, but still, it's a nice, comfortable, relaxing soundtrack. Something that you can listen to while you're cleaning your house or while you're going for a walk or whatever. Like I said, if you're not already listening to your favorite WoW podcast. Okay. In other news, let's talk about the August trading post. So the August 2026 trading post is here. You can get the Hate Forged Blaze Cycle mount, which I already purchased. It's 500 Trader's Tenders, which is not a lot. So yeah, that is really cool. That's the one that you could get from the Mountain Dew promotion. That was a big drama because people were just buying it to get the tokens that you could turn in or whatever. I didn't buy that much Mountain Dew, so at least not then. Now I do because I got addicted to Baja Blast. But so there's a few things on there that are pretty cool. It's got a very Southwest cowboy theme this month. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's these gunslinger hats, which I think are really cool. My hunter has got a gunslinger set up right now. She's like the rifleman. And some of these ensembles are really good too. So I would definitely go check out the trading posts. It's got a really cool kind of Old West, Southwest type vibe. As always, you get some other stuff in there that's, if it works for your particular transmog aesthetic, then perfect. But, not everything is going to work for everybody, which I think is one of the beauties of the trading post, because if everything they put out was an absolute 100% banger that everyone wanted, it would be really frustrating when you couldn't afford it. But I have 7,000 tendies just sitting there. So when a month comes along that there's something that I really like this motorcycle, I could just go buy it. I don't even have to think about it. The Traveler's Log reward for the month is the ensemble Midnight Outlaw. So it's got 2 different helms, one with the cowboy hat and then one with the cowboy hat and the mask on. It's got just it's a recolor of the sets that are available on the trading post, but this one you get for free. As long as you do stuff in World of Warcraft throughout the month of August, you will get this as your reward. And I think it's a really good set. The one thing I don't like about it is I don't like the way they do the cowboy boots. I wish they would make them like real cowboy boots. That being said, it's still a cool looking set, and I'll probably put it on someone. Probably not my rogue, because I don't play my rogue, but it's fine. It's a cool set. I like it. So yeah, there you go. That's the trading post. The last few trading posts have been kind of bland. I'm not gonna lie. Not anything super exciting. And this one falls into that category as well, but I'm hoping that we get some really good ones going into the winter. Summer has been kind of just slow. So this motorcycle is good, though. I did buy it, 500 tendies. It's definitely worth it if you don't already have it. And then if you missed it last time it was around, I guess it was last year, the Grandmaster's Royal Board, the chessboard flying mount, that one's really cool. That one's back on the trading post as well. And then you could also get the Badlands Buzzard for 550 traders tenders. It's just a buzzard that you can ride. So if you want that or any of the other things on the trading post, go check it out. Trading post is in Silvermoon, Dornogal, Valdrakken, Stormwind, Orgrimmar, wherever you can find it. All right. And finally, let's talk about this new comic. So we've got Legacy of Rage. It's a new comic, which I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched it yet. It's about Zul'Jin, and I'll probably watch it later today. But I saw it pop up on the thing, and I was like, you know what, I need to talk about that. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm realizing I have nothing to say because I didn't watch it. So, Zul'Jin is one of those characters who's just really, he's an archetype, right? The aggressive, angry, secondary leader, right? The second in line behind his sister Zul'Jara. And I think Blizzard did a pretty good job with him, although it's frustrating to see that sibling dynamic follow all of the typical tropes. But whatever, it's fine. So check out Legacy of Rage if that's something you're interested in. It's only 6 minutes, so it's a quick watch. So, all right. Let's move on to what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. The bonus event for the week is Dragonflight Time Walking. This is the final week of the Turbulent Timeways, so hopefully you got your spawn of Viranoth Mount. If not, this is your last chance to get it. If you have 3 stacks already. Dragonflight Time Walking. You're going to get the Sign of the Dragonflight's buff. Dragonflight reputation gains from combat and quests increased by 50%. You can pick up the quest A Soaring Path Through Time from Archmage Aethys Sunreaver in Silvermoon. You defeat 5 time-walking dungeons, and you'll be rewarded with a hero track raid item. The dungeons are Algathar Academy, Azure Vault, Brackenhide Hollow, Halls of Infusion, Neltharis, and Ruby Life Pools. Get you a head start with Ruby Life Pools for Season 2. Honestly, as far as time walkings go, this one I'm pretty happy with. These are good dungeons. It's a good dungeon pool. I don't love Brackenhide Hollow, but the rest of them are fine. And I loved the Dragonflight dungeons. I thought they were great. And that's it. So, this is the final week for the Turbulent Timeways. Time walking will go back to normal after this. So in 3 weeks, when we get the next time walking, it will be a champion track raid item instead of a hero track raid item. But this hero track raid item is going to be a season 1 item. So it's going to be like item level 259 or whatever. Which is not really going to be all that impressive come season 2. But still, it's a good thing to kind of help you along and get you through the initial part of season 2 until you can start working on your crests and all that. So, and we'll talk about season 2 here in just a few minutes. But there you go. We don't know when the next time Turbulent Timeways will be, but time walking is still, as far as I can tell, on a 3-week cycle. So, there you go. That's what's going on there. The PvP brawl for the week is Deep Wind Dunk. Can you even dunk? If you want to win this brawl, you're going to need to work on your skills, because Dunk Ball has come to Pandaria. You'll race to claim balls from the map's center, or northern or southern mines, take them to your enemy's base, and then go for a magnificent long-range shot or go all in for the dunk. When you zone in, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP brawl, and you will be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. We have 2 other events that are going to close out this week. We've got the Trial of Style. That's going to go... actually, both events are going to go through Saturday. So, Trial of Style, August 8th. Go in there and get that. I didn't see that there was anything new this time around. So, but, it's fun. And if you haven't picked up all the transmog, it's a really good time to go do it. And the Dark Moon Fair is in town until August 8th. So get your knowledge points, skill points, your XP and reputation buff, all of that stuff from the Dark Moon Fair. Trial Style, actually, I was curious at how they were doing it this time. And when I mentioned it before, I hadn't seen it. But what they did is they added a new transmog item into your transmog interface. Because previously, Trial Style made all transmog free, because you were just transmogging a bunch of stuff. Now, what they've done is they just created a new one that's just for the Trial of Style, so you can edit that as many times as you want, and that's free. But you don't change on any of your other transmogs. I actually think that's really good. I do miss the free transmog week, but it's still pretty cool to be able to have a specific one. This is my one for the Trial of Style, and I have to pay for it. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I think it's a better system that way. So, yeah, check it out. Trial of Style is fun, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those weird things, because it's 6 people, but you can't queue in with 6 people because you're going to be 5 in a group. So I don't know. It's a little odd, but go do the Trial of Style. It's fine. Whatever. And that's it. That's what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. So let's move on to the main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
All right, here we are yet again. New patch in World of Warcraft. I feel like this is coming every 2 months. New patch. It is coming fast, and Blizzard has said they're going to hold to their guns on this one. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how many bugs are released with this one. Although this isn't a buggy patch, this is a sneaky patch. But yeah, so I don't know. So far on the PTR, everything looks good, but obviously when it goes live, they have to switch over everything to the live servers, and that always causes at least one issue. So we'll see how it goes. But there is a lot coming in this patch. Curse of Ula'tek. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to start with the list. We're going to go through everything that's coming in the patch, or most everything, and then we'll talk about the schedule. So first off, there is a new raid, the Venomous Abyss. Final boss, Ula'tek. Yeah. And the penultimate boss is the Coiled Altar. Look, man, if you haven't done the patch 12.0.7 storyline, and you don't know that Zul'jin is trying to find Ula'tek, sorry. But penultimate boss is Zul'jin being mind controlled by Malakras. So there you go. I mean, in a situation of who could have seen this coming, turns out Malakras is the true villain in this story. So yeah, the Venomous Abyss, it's an 8-boss raid, and it looks pretty cool. Like I talked about last week, the music is really good. The ambiance in there looks really good. So I'm excited for this one. The fights, just reading through the journal, the fights look interesting enough. I feel like the fights in season 1 were good. Blizzard did a really good job of making the fights easily understood, with the exception of Crown of the Cosmos. I thought that was a terrible fight, but everything else was pretty straightforward. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit more of the same from the Venomous Abyss. There's a new layer. So if you haven't heard, Blizzard is changing the way world bosses work. No more will there just be a random world boss sitting out in the middle of a zone, and you have to go near it, and then you can queue up for that world boss. No, they are putting the world boss into an instanced raid encounter area known as a lair. So this is a new instance type that you can set the difficulty just like you can with a raid, but I guess you can queue into it. I don't know. I didn't do it on the PTR, so I'll have to try it next week when the lair launches. And to be clear, this is lair Lair, like Onyxius lair, Magtheridon's lair. Not layer like, oh, I'm on layer 2, I need to be on layer 3. So it's a different kind of layer. But so the new layer is the Tidebound Grotto. It's in the new zone. It's actually underwater. And the boss is Nimrissa Wavecaller, is the new world boss. So we will talk about the release schedule for that, but just know that there are 4 different difficulties for that. World tier, normal, heroic, and mythic. So very exciting stuff there. New dungeon, Altar of Fangs. This is a 3-boss dungeon, also located on the Coiled Isle. It's actually underground in the vault of Ula'tek, but yeah, it looks good. The bosses are Ravi, the Writhing Coil, and Zul'jin. So we're gonna fight Zul'jin twice, which is cool. You know, it was really interesting how Blizzard did that new dungeon in the War Within Season 3 to take place after the raid. I felt like that was really weird from a storytelling standpoint. I like this better because the dungeon is intended to take place before the raid, because we're going to get the dungeon and have a week with it before the raid comes out. So that actually makes more sense. So yeah, that's the new dungeon, Altar of Fangs. And again, you know, it looks really good. There's a new seasonal dungeon lineup. So this is not just the Mythic Plus dungeon lineup anymore, because this is also the Mythic Zero and the Heroic dungeon lineup. So don't forget, you can't queue for just random Heroic and get all midnight dungeons. You're going to get the new seasonal dungeon lineup starting with week 1. The dungeon lineup is Altar of Fangs, which is the new dungeon, Murder Row, Den of Nalarak, the Blinding Veil, Voidscar Arena. These are all the midnight dungeons. And then we'll have King's Rest from Battle for Azeroth, Temple of Sethralist from Battle of Azeroth, and Ruby Life Pools from Dragonflight. Not a bad dungeon list. I could do without Temple of Sethralist, honestly. Sorry, Snake of Uldun, but yeah, it's a pretty good list. I don't like Den of Nalarak either. That one kind of sucks ass, but the rest of them are pretty good. Yeah, there you go. So, all right, there are 3 new delves that we're going to be able to do. There's the Ring of Glory and Gnarl Door Isle. These are both on the Coiled Isle. And Venomfall Deeps. This is the new Nemesis delve, where we're going to fight our new Nemesis boss, Azare, or Azare, or Azare, or I don't know. It's Azare. So however you pronounce that, that's how it's pronounced. So yeah, that's pretty cool. 2 new delves is good times. I'm assuming, and I didn't see this anywhere, but I'm assuming we're going to get new stories on the existing delves, because that's what Blizzard had done in the War Within, but I guess we'll see. Prey, there are going to be 3 new hunts on the Coiled Isle, so 2 hard and 1 nightmare. The number of weekly hunts that you can do is going to go from 10 to 15. There are going to be 4 new Coiled Isle themed targets, but they can spawn anywhere. They can spawn in the 12.0 midnight zones or whatever. But you have the 3 new hunts that you can do on the Coiled Isle. And the interesting thing that they're doing this time around is you can do Curse of the Isle. It's basically a hard mode on the Isle, kind of modeled after Nagtal and Val. When you switch on hard mode, you're going to get afflicted by the nightmare affixes. So you're going to get all those affixes, which, by the way, there are all new nightmare affixes this season. So you'll have to get used to all those. And you're going to get these ossified relics that are going to spawn around the area. When you collect enough of them, you'll be able to summon the mini boss, Ralkala, who you can kill and have a chance to get a mount. So that's pretty cool as well. Like I said before, I really like Prey. I've done it quite a few times now, but the problem I have with it is as soon as I was maxed on my coffer key fragments, I had no interest in doing Prey. I'm like, well, I'm done with Prey because I'm not getting anything from it now. The only reason for me to do Prey is to get you your coffer key shards so that you can go do delves. Once you have that, Prey becomes not as interesting to me. So is that a flaw with it? I don't know. Maybe it's only designed for limited use, but anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So yeah, there's the new changes coming to Prey for Season 2 or in patch 12.1. All right, the new zone. So let's talk about the Coiled Isle. So we've mentioned it a few times already. There is a new zone, the Coiled Isle. The Coiled Isle is broken up into two parts. There is the outdoor part, which is on the surface, and then there is the underground part, which is the vaults of Ula'tek. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So there's a new story campaign, 6 new chapters, which does include the legacy of the Amani from patch 12.0.7. If you haven't done that and you don't know what Ziljan is up to, that's the first part of this new storyline. So make sure you do that first, and then it'll bring you to the new island. And so far the story's good. I mean, I've only done the first 2 chapters, but I like it. I can kind of see where they're going with it. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but on the PTR, it's good so far. And most of the cutscenes are actually, I don't want to say they're done because they still have the work in progress line, red X through them, but it looks like they're mostly done. So I think that's pretty cool. And, the storyline in WoW has been a little rough. I was listening to the solo queue with Dave Gagne, where he was talking about the storyline in WoW and how it's difficult. And, I think one of the problems is that you want to tell a good, interesting story, but you're really limited by the environment. You're really limited by the systems. You're limited by so many different things. And so Blizzard's storytelling ends up being really on the nose. And I think that's one of the detriments to it. But sometimes they do things in such a way that you're like, oh, okay, I see where this is foreshadowing. Okay, that's a good way to tell a story. I get it. Not everything is perfect. And some of this initial story, you're like, yeah, of course we can't do that, because why would we be able to be done when we could just, keep going with this story, but that's how it goes. That's how stories are. So, yeah, check out the new story campaign when you get over, or it'll take you to the Coiled Isle. But I believe if you've already done the Legacy of the Amani chapter, the first chapter of this, then the second chapter is going to start in Zul'Aman, and you'll talk to Zul'Jara and Liadrin. Okay, so I mentioned the Vaults of Ula'tek. This is the new underground zone. Think like Zaralek Cavern, or is that what it was called? Whatever the one in Dragonflight Season 2. That's what this is going to be. You can't fly under there. So once you fly in, you will be dismounted and you'll have to get on your ground mount to continue on. And one of the really interesting things they're doing here, there's just 2 things that I wanted to point out. One, they've got this Altar of Corrosion. It's a zone-specific talent tree, so it'll only work when you're there, which they've done this sort of thing before. But what I really like how they're implementing this is that the currency and the rewards are warbound. So if you play a lot of alts, you'll be able to collect currency on whichever character you're on. Now, the currency is going to be limited. It's time locked, so it doesn't matter if you're on an alt or on a main. You're only going to get however many currencies. But as you get the currency, you'll be able to unlock the talent tree, and then that talent tree will be applied to everyone in your warband. So I think that's really cool. It's pretty generic stuff, but one of the really big things is there's a lot of poison in this patch, and this Altar of Corrosion talent tree will allow you to reduce the amount of damage that the poison does. It's just environmental. You're just on the ground. The water is all poisoned and cursed and whatever. So it's going to help you reduce some of that damage. So you're going to want to make sure that you are doing this every week so you can get your Altar of Corrosion talent tree filled out. And it's just another Dragonflight style tree that Blizzard loves to make these days. So the other thing that's going on in the Vaults of Ula'tek is the rotating public events. So these events, it's kind of like the oh God, what is the name of it? Now I can't remember. Researchers under fire. So when you're there in the zone, it's just going to happen. But it's going to be like the Void Assaults, where it's going to be a strike, which is the smaller one that you can do on your own. And then the incursions, which is going to be the bigger one that you're going to do with people around you, or maybe you're in a group. And then finally, there'll be a big boss fight. So it's the same kind of thing. And it's just going to depend and it's going to be a few different ones. And then they're just going to rotate constantly. So you'll be able to do those while you're in the vaults, but I think you only get rewards twice, just like normal public events. So you could keep doing them, but it won't really give you anything. So that's the underground part. Now the raid and the dungeon are both underground, so we have to go underground. There's 3 entrances that you can fly into. You'll see them on the map, and when you go underground, your map will switch to the underground portion. But if you want to go back to the above ground portion, there's going to be a little thing on the map that you can switch between the two. So it's not a big deal. But yeah, that's how it's going to work. It's essentially another zone. They just attached it through that flying underground mechanic that we use in Azeroth Cavern. It's going to be the same type of thing. So okay, back up on the ground, there's going to be curse surges. So this also is very similar to the Void Assault, same type of thing. And you're just going to participate with it that way. The one thing that this was really interesting, though, is that there's this whole thing with cursed fishing. The cursed fishing is basically you can fish on the around the coiled isle, but you're going to take a lot of damage because of the water. There's a lot of poison and the curse and whatever. So you have to figure out different ways that you can be able to fish there. And then once you can, you're going to be able to get different currencies. And I think it's going to tie into the Abyss Anglers probably. I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, when you're doing the curse surges, you're going to be able to get your, there's going to be elites that are going to spawn. And if you kill the elites, then you're going to be able to unlock cursed fishing in the locations where the elites were. And what that means is you'll be able to go and do it without taking a ton of poison damage. So the other way that you can do the cursed fishing is by talking to Captain Toka. Toka is a Tortolan that's already there on the Coiled Isle. His ship wrecked there, and they've been stranded on the Coiled Isle ever since. So you have to do a little quest, and you'll unlock reputation with Captain Toka. And when you do that, then you'll be able to access curse fishing with him and his crew. So there you go. That's what's happening in the outdoor zone. As always, this sort of thing, reading it and explaining it and trying to understand exactly how this works, it doesn't make any sense. When you go there and you do it the first time, you'll be like, oh, that's how this works. Okay. And it's not a big deal. But you have to at least have a vague idea somewhere in your brain. You're like, oh, that's right, Altar of Corrosion, I've got to go do this in my talent tree. Or oh, here's the public event or whatever. If you have a general idea of what's coming, then when you go there, you'll be able to figure it out pretty easily. All right, that's it for the main content. Let's talk about some of the other stuff that's coming, because this is a beefy patch for non-end game content. Let's start with housing. Houses can now be leveled to level 12. So we're currently 9 is the cap, so that's going to go up to 12. So that's really cool. New level rewards are going to include increased limits for decor and large exteriors. If you've seen the screenshots, the large exteriors look really cool. I don't know that I can get to level 12. I mean, I have not spent a lot of time with housing, but I'm probably going to do a little bit more now that they're introducing their blueprints, which we'll get to in a second. And you can now place the entry to your house on any floor. So when you're in the layout view inside your house, you can move the entrance to the second floor or whatever. That way you can essentially create a basement for yourself. Have the second floor be your entry floor, thus anything below that is going to be the basement. I think that would be pretty cool. I'd love it if you could make it dark, like no light at all, but yeah, there's always going to be some ambient light in there. I guess you could use the Hearthlight Armillary. And there you go. In the interface for decor, there's going to be 2 new categories, which is going to be pet beds and vines and hanging plants. So that is going to make things a lot easier for doing your indoor plant, on the wall and stuff. Speaking of pet beds, so you can now place pet beds in your house. There's a vendor in town that you can purchase them from, and I don't have the names of the vendors in front of me, but it's pretty easy to find. There's a dog house or whatever that they're near. So, but you can purchase different pet beds depending on whatever motif you want. There's like a busted looking cage. There's a little rug. There's different things that you can put down for your pet. Once you purchase them, you put them down and you can choose one of your battle pets to be the pet on that bed. Once you've done that, you get to decide if you want that pet to be stationary, just sit on the bed, or if you want them to roam. If you're indoors, if you're outdoors, you can only be stationary. But if you're indoors, your pet can roam around the area and just kind of wander around your house, which is kind of cool. Currently, and I don't know if this is correct, but on the PTR, there is 100 pet beds that you can place indoors and 25 outdoors. It seems like a lot. The pet beds are 5 housing budget each. So if you did 100 pet beds, that would be 500 housing budget. That's a lot, depending on what level your house is. But, there it is. On the original patch notes, it said 10 and 5. So I don't know if this is just a bug on the PTR or whatever it is, but it is 100 inside and 25 outside pet beds that you can place. You could literally place 100 pet beds in your house, all over your house, and just have animals everywhere, which I'm sure some people will do. I mean, yeah, some people are going to do that. So there you go. That's the new pet bed thing. That now they talked about it, and when they talk about this stuff, like, hey, this is something we're working on for the future, I honestly expect those features to kind of be weird and clunky and not work exactly the way that players think, because the developers think a little bit differently than the players. This is like perfect. This is exactly what I was expecting. So well done, Blizzard. I do approve of this one. There are 4 new endeavors. If you want to go and you get Amani Troll, Kobold, Onaran, and Tortolin themed decor items, you'll be able to do those. The new Amani Troll endeavor is knock off Amani, like Armani, but Amani. Candle culture for the kobolds. Onaran Centaurs is every Bakar has its day. The Tortolans is vacation season. So depending on if you're in a private neighborhood or if you're in a public neighborhood. If you're in a public neighborhood, you'll just get them whenever. But if you're in a private neighborhood, you could specify, here's the one we want to do this time. So yeah, I'm in a public neighborhood. So it is what it is. There you go. All right. The die system for the housing. We talked about this a couple months ago, but the housing die is changing the way it works. Blizzard is changing the whole thing. Housing die pigments are gone. You can now just create dies, and they're going to be divided into the 9 categories or the 9 colors, black, white, red, yellow, whatever. Each category has a base die. Okay, that's whatever your generic color is, blue. If you have the base die, you can color your decor using any of the colors in that category. Midnight blue, navy blue, royal blue, stormwind blue, whatever. So that means that the dies will now only take up 9 bag slots, down from 72, which is a lot. There are 15 new colors that are being added in, but like I said, those will not take up any new slots because you'll only have the 9 bag slots for the 9 primary or main colors that you're going to have. And there's no more die recipes. Alchemists and scribes can create dies directly at the die station. This is a fantastic change because it's so frustrating being in there, and I'm partially colorblind. Okay, I can't tell variations between colors very well. My wife can see like 64 million colors or whatever. I can see like 256. Okay, so she's always like, oh no, you need to change it and put in this blue, or change that to this gold to that gold and this gold to that gold. And to me, it's close enough that I'm like, yeah, that works. But I can tell some of these blues aren't the same, or some of these reds aren't the same, and it's frustrating because you want your house to look a certain way and you want everything to match. You don't want 5 different shades of red decorating your room because it's going to look odd. So this makes it a lot better because now you only have to have red, and then you can just go through and you're like, I want everything to be this color red. No, I don't like that one. I'm going to change it to this color red or whatever. And so because right now what you have to do, if you want to change to a different type of red or a different type of blue or whatever, you got to go back out and either get on your auction house mount and purchase some more, or log on to an alt, run to the auction house, pick up the correct die, mail it to yourself. Hopefully you have a mailbox. If not, you have to go to town, get them. I mean, it's a hassle. It's a huge hassle. So all you need is like 100 of each die color and you're going to be good. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep it all sitting in my bags. Or I think you could do it from the Warband bank. So maybe I'll just put it in there. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, that's what they're doing there. All right, let's talk about the blueprint system. So the new blueprint system is a new way of saving your room. When Blizzard first implemented housing, one of the biggest complaints or requests, I should say, from people was, hey, I want to be able to save my room. I want to be able to save my house. I want to be able to move things around without having to destroy my house. Because right now, if you build a room and then you build another room and you go, I don't want that first room, you have to destroy the second room and then you can destroy the first room. And you basically have to tear your whole house apart. So it's really frustrating. Now you're going to be able to save your rooms. You can export your entire house. You can export the inside. You can export the outside, or you can export a specific room on the inside. Those are all the different things that you can do. The blueprint codes can be shared cross-region. It's not going to be different for NA versus EU. So all the content creators that are making housing, they're going to be able to create something and then say, hey, you can have the blueprint code if you sign up for my Patreon or whatever, because they will. So, I mean, it's whatever. It's fine. I get it. People trying to, you got to respect the hustle, even if you don't like it. You can have 50 layouts saved with an additional 10 autosave slots, which will allow you to revert imports, which is really cool because sometimes, 50 layouts saved is a lot, but I'm imagining that some people will get up there pretty quickly. And then having the autosave, it's, when you import something, it automatically saves what you had previously. That all makes sense. But I'm really looking forward to being able to build something and then say, okay, I'm going to save that now because I can't get it quite the way that I want. Or if I have an idea, or what I've done typically is I have a partial idea. And so I tear apart everything and I start with my partial idea and I go, I don't know what to do now because this is only a partial idea. So I'd love to be able to just go, okay, revert back to what was before. And now we're going to be able to do that. So you will also be able to set your export permissions in your house. So if somebody's going to your house to check out your house and you're like, hey, come check out my house, they can be like, oh my gosh, I love how you did this room. And then they can grab it and put it in their house. So that's something that you can do if you are a content creator, or if you're just, the really popular person in your neighborhood, or, just whatever. People want to check out your house. It's going to be a way that people can, I guess, trade and share different design ideas. Now, one of the things that Blizzard said was that they were going to figure out a way that you could save one decor item, or like one thing. And the example they gave was the piano. That is not here. So that's something I think they're still working on. It's probably going to be really difficult to just select an object in a room. But what I've decided I'm going to do when I get to this point is I'm going to build a room that is basically my storage room. And that storage room is going to be where I build all of these things. And then I can just take that and save it and hopefully bring it back at some point in the future when they go, okay, now you can save your piano, or now you can save whatever it is that, I'm working on. That'll allow me to be creative without the fear of, this is going to be a waste of time because I have to tear it out because I need to move it 2 squares over or whatever. So, and I know that a lot of people are like, would you stop talking about housing? I really like it. It's really cool. So, yeah, there you go. That's what's going on with housing. You can link your blueprint codes in chat if you want. You could report somebody's blueprint if you're like, this one's terrible. But yeah, you can save everything, but not specific items in a row. That's the only thing you cannot save. Yeah. And there's going to be some form of housing where you can work on your house, but then you can have like, here's my presentation house. I don't think that that's being implemented quite yet, but I think that's coming. They did say that it was coming in the next patch, but then I think they took that out of the patch notes. So, the other thing is if you import a build from another player, but you don't have all of the items that are required to complete the build the way that they did it, it will tell you, here's the items you're missing, and here's how much budget you need for those items, which I think is really cool. So that's one of the things that I really hate is if you watch a video of somebody's house and you're like, oh my God, that is so cool. I'm like, I want to know what they used. How did they make that particular thing? That's it. That's all I want to know. Just that one thing. And you can't tell. So this way you'll be able to. So, all right, let's move on from housing. Let's talk about the Discord integration. So players are going to be able to link their accounts to Discord in game, and you can go in there, check a box, enable Discord functionality, and set your name. You can have it be as your in-game name or your Discord name or whatever, your last character online. However you want to do it, there's some different options. You can get in there and play around with that. And then the guild leader can link the Discord channel in the guild tab. They can open it up and set the... you can set it to either have guild chat pick up a Discord channel, or you can have a separate Discord chat channel. Either way, the guild master has to do that, or guild leader has to do that. But you'll be able to be in Discord and see somebody talking in guild chat and then respond, and it will send it to guild chat and just have a little Discord icon next to your name indicating that you responded from Discord. It's really cool. It's really simple. I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this episode, and I was like, they basically got rid of the companion app, which at one point allowed you to read guild chat. I don't remember when they took that out, but they took out the ability to read guild chat before they removed the companion app, I believe. But this is the replacement for it. I guess they decided we're not going to run that system ourselves. We're just going to hook into Discord, and do it that way. So, and I guess that works. Pretty much every guild these days uses Discord. I can't tell you the last time I heard of a guild that didn't have a Discord server. So I guess this makes sense. But my one complaint, as always, I have 2 Battle.net accounts, so I have to create 2 Discord accounts for this. So I have a second Discord account that it's basically done with R2. And what are you going to do? And not that I'm in a guild right now that I need to be able to do that, but I might at some point. And if that's the case, then, because honestly, if they're putting Discord integration into the game right now, and then they announce Classic Plus, what are the odds you think that they're going to put Discord integration into Classic Plus? Come on. Right? Other UI changes that are coming. We've got the expanded cooldown manager. The default tracker has been upgraded to natively monitor your active trinkets and consumable potions. There's a new group buff filter. Healers can change their group buffs, prioritize, and basically curate the buffs that they want to see on the group raid UI. The frame buff scaling, so the icons for buffs and debuffs can now be scaled and change sizes. Missed interrupt indicator, using a kick or counterspell when a target is not actively casting a spell will now display a distinct missed text pop-up over the enemy's head. Other quality of life features coming to the interface. There's native map coordinates, which work really well. It shows your position and your cursor's position on the map. There's going to be a social panel redesign. The entire social interface has been visually modernized with a larger frame. The friends list will now allow you to tag, categorize, and filter your contacts into custom groups, which is really cool. Hey, these are the people I know from my old guilds, or these people that I run Mythic Plus with. These are the people whatever. So you can put them into different groups there. Your settings will persist. So any settings that you have changed, like, for example, auto loot, will just stay on for any new character on your account, which is annoying. Anytime you make a new character, you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta go turn on auto loot. So there you go. And then there's going to be a back button arrow on the top of the achievement panel to let you quickly reverse navigate nested menus. So that's interesting. Although it doesn't take you back to what you were at previously, it just goes back through whatever achievement you're in. It goes back through the achievements. So it's a little clunky, but you'll get used to it. Other things, new aura trackers. Blizzard adjusted the API to prevent add-ons from leaking automated mechanic data, but added alternative methods allowing players to create visual custom weak aura style screens. And add-ons can now only build visual screen alerts for debuffs on enemies and buffs on allies. Tracking external mechanic debuffs directly on yourself visually is blocked, though custom audio triggers remain allowed for all auras. We're still struggling with the loss of weak auras. It sucks, but hopefully Blizzard will eventually get it right. The ping system has undergone some changes. You can now click ping individual spells directly from your action bars or the upgraded cooldown manager to show that it's ready and available. It'll place a physical icon of that spell above your character and alerts the party in chat. If the ability is on cooldown, the system automatically posts the exact remaining timer. There are 2 macro commands, ping spell and ping item, that have been added so you can ping defensive or offensive cooldowns via your keyboard without moving your mouse, which is a really good one for tanks and healers to be able to communicate in a Mythic Plus, because sometimes you just need an extra 10 seconds. And that 10 seconds could be the difference between a wipe and killing this group. So you're better off waiting the 10 seconds than having the 5-minute penalty of having to run back and all that. So you can do resource pinging, so you can now directly ping your own unit frame to instantly push your current health status to the group text log. Healers can ping their own frames to automatically broadcast their current mana percentage to the group. And when a group member uses an in-world ping, a corresponding indicator now actively flashes directly on the target focus and raid frames. This makes it easier for healers to cross-reference who's shouting for help. And then you can set a toggle to prevent misclicks. And you can have your mouse pass through different things depending on if you want it to, like sometimes you might accidentally click on a pet and you ping a pet instead of the location where you want people to go. It's annoying, and you can now change that. It's just a setting under your options key bindings ping system, and it will give you the options there. That's pretty much everything that's coming in patch 12.1. There's a few, obviously I didn't go over any of the class changes. There are a ton of class changes. Prop paladins are getting a really nice buff. Blood DKs are pretty much staying the same, which stinks, but that's okay. I'm going to play my hunter instead. I didn't want to go through all the class changes. I only went through those 2 because those are the 2 that I had been playing. And going through class notes and changes is really frustrating, because unless you are one of these people who knows every single class and every single ability and what they all do and how they all interact with each other, reading the class notes is just tedious. And you're like, I don't know what that means. What does that do? Is that a new ability? Is it a talent? Is it a baseline? Is that something from hero talents? What is it? So, yeah, that's what's going on there. So if you want to check out your class and what your class did, you could just go to the class notes and scroll down until you get to your particular class. And it's pretty clear. If you know your class well enough, then you should be able to read that and go, oh, okay, here's what's coming on. So, all right, let's talk about schedule. Starting on August 11th, patch day. This is the release of the patch. This is not the start of season 2, so we will not get any of the season 2 stuff. But we will get some things, starting with the new lair. The Tidebound Grotto will be available in world difficulty only. When they first put this out, they mistakenly indicated that it was all difficulties, including Mythic, which is obviously not true. So you'll be able to do your new world boss on world difficulty starting on patch day, which will be really cool. It'll give you veteran track gear. The new dungeon, Altar of Fangs, you can do. That'll be really fun. Maybe I don't know. I haven't done it. It looks cool. It looks like fun, but I haven't done it yet. So the new Midnight dungeons are going to be available for Mythic, 0, and Heroic. So you'll be able to do those. Mythic Zero is on a weekly reset and drops 292 item level gear. Prey Season 2, normal and hard modes only. Delves Season 2, Nemesis ? Difficulty, all tiers of Delves, but no Bountiful. This is the first week. Training Grounds Arenas are going to be available, and credit towards the Great Vault Season 2 rewards will begin on the first week of the patch. Coming in on August 18th, this is week 2. The new raid, the Venomous Abyss, will be available in normal, heroic, mythic, no heroic week, and Raid Finder Wing 1. You're going to get Mythic Plus Season 2 with the new Mythic Plus, or the new dungeon rotation, Altar of Fangs, Murder Road, Den of Nalarak, The Binding Veil, Voidscar Arena, King's Rest, Temple of Sethralus, and Ruby Life Pools. You're going to get Mythic Zero on a daily reset, and it drops 292 item level gear, which is champion 1 of 6, I believe. PvP Season 2, Delves Season 2, including Nemesis ? Difficulty, Bountiful Delves, and Coffer Keys. Prey Season 2, Nightmare Mode, and the Curse of the Isle, which is a new heroic mode for being on the Coiled Isle. Great Vault Season 2 gear becomes available, and the lair Tidebound Grotto will be available in normal, heroic, and mythic flexible scaling difficulty. So you can do 15 to 25 on mythic, which will be really cool for some of these guilds that struggle to get 20 people. Maybe you struggle to get down to 20, or you struggle to get up to 20. So 15 to 25 is a great range for that. Following week, August 25th, Venomous Abyss Raid Finder Wing 2 and Story Mode. September 1st, Venomous Abyss Raid Finder Wing 3. And September 8th, the Venomous Abyss Raid Finder Wing 4. Race to World First will begin August 18th, but it will probably be just a few days of heroic splits before we get into any Race to World First activity. So don't expect anything interesting that first couple of days. And that's it. That's what's coming in patch 12.1. It's really exciting. And like I said, I'm not loving all the troll aesthetic, but it's fine. Not everything can be what I like. Sometimes the troll fans get something. And honestly, the Amani are kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually looking forward to Zulaman on the anniversary service, because it'll be like, oh, the Amani, yeah. So yeah, that's what's coming for patch 12.1. And there you go. Like I said, Race to World First starting on August 18th, but realistically, it's going to be more like the 20th or the 21st. So, all right. That's going to wrap up our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to get on this microphone and speak to you. If you're enjoying the show and you want to help us out, you could consider leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Those really help out our distribution. And so if you're inclined to do so, I would be very grateful. And as I mentioned earlier, if you leave a comment or a review, I will read it on the air. And if you are on YouTube, you could help out by giving us a like and a subscribe, leaving a comment on there. As I mentioned before, I'll get back to doing some videos, and I have some plans for things that I want to do after BlizzCon, but for right now, it's everything's going to be post BlizzCon, because that's kind of where my focus is. The other thing you could do if you want to help us out is you could consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/Azeroth United. This is where people can give their IRL money to help out with the production costs of the show. As I've mentioned before, Azeroth United is and always will be free. There is an ad roll at the end of the podcast that goes in. I don't like podcasts that put it in the middle of the show. I feel like that disrupts the show, and it's just kind of annoying. And I don't like podcast that put it at the beginning of the show, although that's less disruptive because you haven't quite started yet. But at the end, if you are still listening and you hear the ad roll, I feel like that's not the worst thing. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, it's not like I'm making a whole bunch of money from it. I think I got $4 last month from the ad roll, which is not nothing, but it's also not a lot. So I'll take it. It helps. But yeah, the Patreon is a great way to support the show and to say, hey, I like what you're doing. I don't have one of these Patreon, oh, there's a $50 tier. And there's the free tier where you can just join the Patreon. There's the $1, like our standard tier. And then there's the $3 friend of the show tier. And that's it. That's all. And that's per month. It's not per episode. It's per month. So, but if nobody wanted to join the Patreon, I'd still do Azeroth United. So it's not like, well, I'm not going to do it unless you join. No, it helps. That's all it is. So, I do want to thank our friend of the show patrons, though. That's one of the perks that they get for joining the friend of the show tier. That is Stuglife, Delio, Greybeard, Raven, Azerin, and Luch. Thank you all so much for your support. You all definitely help make Azeroth United possible, but you are not the sole cause, because I'd still do this even if I was paying for it all out of my own pocket. But I do appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. So thank you all so much. And that's it. So thank you again for listening. Remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And you know what? Maybe they like the troll aesthetic. Damn it. And the Amani are cool. So, you know, or they want to play Zandalari Troll and whatever. I don't know. There's too many trolls. But you know what? We're all just descended from the Haranir anyway, right? Right? That wasn't controversial at all. Anyway, yeah, just it's a real person. So just remember to be nice and smile and have fun. All right. Take care. I love you all, and I'll see you in Azeroth.